I think there's, for me personally, probably a small subset of patients that I would consider using Avastin in the upfront setting. I wouldn't start with Avastin from the beginning. I would give carboplatin alone, but if they weren't completely platinum resistant or refractory, meaning that they grew through it, but if they had some residual disease, in that setting is where I would use Avastin as a maintenance therapy. And so that FDA approval would allow me to use it in that way. But for patients who have a complete response, me personally, I save Avastin to use later. And so the 213 and the Oceans don't actually change my mind there. Because I think you're really signing someone up for, years of chemotherapy that may not be necessary because those patients do fairly well overall. So it's really going to be, we're really going to start looking even more at quality of life, patient-reported outcomes, cost. So all of those things, and Katie Moore made a great point last night. She said, if we're going to be throwing all these things to people up in the upfront setting, then we better be curing some people. So in my mind, if you're going to be doing more than carboplatin in the upfront setting, I kind of agree with that. If I was sure that adding Avastin meant that they were going to be cured, then fine. But if that's not the case, yes, do they have some benefit in terms of progression-free survival? If they didn't get the Avastin, yes. But I think all of these, there's no right or wrong answer. And it may be patient-dependent and it may be doctor-dependent. So I think, I advocate for it being FDA approved because that allows the physician to have more choices. That doesn't mean we have to give it. The same with 213 and Oceans. It got FDA approved, but that doesn't mean that you have to get it. And I don't think anybody would argue that if you didn't give it, you are not doing standard of care. I think more and more what is considered standard of care is not black and white.